Alright, in today's video we're talking about the furry economy, and before you click off, no, this isn't a joke. We're going over how much money furry artists actually make, why some personas go for ridiculous prices, why the art is so expensive, how expensive was the most expensive furry art you ever saw being sold online, and how you can literally make money here without drawing anything. And no, I'm not talking about AI slop. I'm talking about bigger things. First of all, I gotta apologize for my accent. I'm not a native speaker, but I'm trying. Now, let's get started with the video, and we'll begin by how much do furry artists really make. So, the real answer is it depends massively on channel positioning and demand. And of course, marketing is a big part of it, so is exclusivity. But I'm going to give you a realistic breakdown. First, you got beginner artists, which go from 0 to 200 a month. These are the artists that are struggling, and they are normally underpricing themselves and shooting themselves on the foot because they think their work is not worth more, or they're just unknown. As for the next phase, which is the intermediate artists, they typically make around 300 to 1500 a month. They got consistent commissions, they've got a small audience, maybe some referral traffic as well. And then you proceed to the established artists, which have a strong style, they have a loyal clientele already, they got waiting lists, a lot of them have waiting lists, that's something you need to deal with, and they make between $2,000 and $6,000 a month. Now, outside of this group, which is above and really, really rare. You got the top tier artists. They make $10,000 a month or more. They're rare, but they're very real. And the key insight is it's not about drawing skill. Of course, drawing skill influences it, but it's more about branding, scarcity, audience trust, perceived value. And if you look at it, two artists with the same skill can earn 10 times different amounts. So the section 2 of this video will go over the most expensive fursona ever sold. That's something, it's curious, and I'd like to talk about it because, yes, some fursonas sell for thousands of dollars. In high-end auctions, you're looking at custom characters, exclusive ownership rights, and premium design work that sells for a base or a starting valuation of 500, 1,000, or 3,000 plus dollars. So these are high-end auctions that are exclusive, and for the rich furries out there, sorry, I bumped my mic there, but I doubt many of you are rich furries, then they are rare as the furry niche is small if you consider the mainstream audience, and the rich people are rare in the mainstream audience, so they're rarer in the fursona fandom. But basically, you're buying digital luxury goods. You're buying identity, uniqueness, status inside the community. Because if you're in that exclusive rich people circle, I almost said circus, you got status from owning those products because the other people in that circus, well, there I go with a circus. Goddamn. Okay, because the other people in that circle, they see your digital luxury good and they recognize it. So you have status from that. Now, proceeding to why furry art is so expensive. Now, this is where most outsiders get it wrong. They look at furry artwork and they think, why does this cost $300? And here's why. It's, first of all, it's time investment. So a full commission can take anywhere between 5 to 20 plus hours, and if you're paying the artist an hourly wage, you see that that alone justifies pricing. But then you got the skill stack, because a fursona commission isn't just a drawing, it's you need to know anatomy, both human and animal. You need to know expression. You need to know design consistency. You need to know color theory. So you're basically combining multiple disciplines into one image, and that takes a lot of skill. Finally, it's usually custom work, so it's personalized, it's unique, and it's one of one. So it's not mass production. I've seen a lot of stores on Etsy mass producing stuff, and this isn't good. Then you got the demand and supply. So the furry community has high demand for custom identity because a persona is more than just a drawing or something you identify as. It's actually an identity you carefully constructed based on your personality and your goals or mindset or whatever. So all of this naturally drives prices up, and that's why there have been personas sold by $30,000, $40,000, because there are rich people who identify strongly with the persona they fell in love with, and they were willing to pay the price. Now, if you're looking at outside of the auctions, there are personas and commissions selling for $3,000, $2,000, $1,000. And on Etsy, I've seen countless personas sold on RoboRender. That's the biggest store on Etsy, selling for $300, $400. And the emotional value is the biggest factor. And for many clients, their persona is their identity. So people are willing to pay. Now, finally, how do you make money in the persona economy? Because the furry economy is huge. If you thought it was small, then think again. Now, here's where things get interesting because most people assume, well, if I can't draw, I can't make money. That's false. You can profit in this space without drawing at all, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you got commission brokering. So basically, you find clients for artists and you get a percentage. You can also talk with an artist and ask him to be his broker. So you find clients, you hire the artist yourself, and you sell to the clients for a bigger amount. These are two types of deals that benefit both the artist and the broker, and you can make some serious money in it if you partner with the right artists. Now, you got branding and identity kits, which don't require drawing. And because personas aren't just art, they're identity, so they need backstories. They need personality design. They need visual identity. They need a lot of things to make the whole personality work. So you're working in positioning that persona. You're not drawing the persona. And there's money to be made in that. If you're a cool writer, then write backstories. If you know which animals match each personality type, then be a personality design guy. There's a lot of work to do in the furry economy, and you can do it. Now, finally, you got content creation like channels like this, which monetize through views, ads, audience. Now, I'm not monetized yet. You know that if you're watching this video, I'm probably a small furry channel, or I just started and this is my first video. So I'm not monetized, but in the future, I plan to be. Hell, if I can make a community of like-minded individuals and have a blast doing it and earning some money on the side, phew, that's a win-win. And there's no drawing required for that. And you can also sell templates, guides, systems, basically help others enter the space. That's how you make money. And finally, you can use AI as well. And I'm not talking about the push button AI where you press a button and you get the drawing out of it. No, but if you're an artist, you can use a model that is trained on your own art to speed up things like create phases to work on and speed up tedious processes because the model is trained on your artwork alone. So it's actually ethical to do so. But the real truth is that this is a real economy. It's not a joke. It's not a niche hobby. This is a functioning market with supply, demand, and high value transactions. But like any other market, most people fail at it. Why? Because they undervalue themselves. I've seen people selling commissions for $1, $2, and what is that? You're working hours to sell things for $1 or $2, mate? You got to think better. And then you don't understand positioning, or you treat it like a hobby instead of a system. So you work part-time, but you expect the full-time income. That's not going to happen. We got to be realistic here. You now know how much furry artists make, why some designs sell for thousands, why prices are high, How can you enter this space without drawing? And above all, the furry economy isn't small, it's just misunderstood. That creates opportunity for you to exploit. If you want more breakdowns on the furry fandom, subscribe, because next we're breaking down how to create a persona that actually stands out. If you're thinking about creating another persona for yourself, then you need to watch that video. So subscribe, activate the bell icon so you can get the notification on my next videos, and bye bye.